A fast-paced Matt Murphy show this Monday, July 28th. Thank you for being with us. Whatever time you're able to give, we're certainly appreciative. It's 7 minutes after 5 o'clock. Good afternoon. Yes, it's hot outside. Yeah, the traffic is nasty out there. I hope you get where you're going. It'll be there when you get there. Be patient, friends. If you're just off work, just joining us, a lot happening over the course of the first 2 hours, and we hope that you're able to spend the last 2 hours with us. 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986, either on the phone lines or the super text lines. You join us and give us a couple of minutes, either via the phones or the super text or just passively listening, and we say thank you. Hey, Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Do you know the biggest breaking news story over the past 2 hours?
The tunnel, right?
That would be on the top of most of our lists. But no, I think according to our super texters, the biggest breaking news story is that they are all in on a Ken Weaver candidacy for governor of the state of Tennessee. And I just got a pretty darn good slogan. Is he back there? No, he's not back there. He had to go. Oh, no, he is back there.
He's back.
What's going on?
Ken?
Yes, sir.
The biggest breaking news story is not the tunnel. It's not Gino Bolso. It's the possibility of getting to vote for Ken Weaver for governor of the state of Tennessee. Listen, I just got a slogan that I'm kind of behind.
All right.
It says, Ken, I'm a Weaver believer. I'm a beweaver. Look.
Who is you on my constituency?
I could see I'm a Weaver believer on a damn bumper sticker. That is good. That is what we're talking about with this audience. Thank you, 2186. That is good. Ken officially says that you're very focused on the news.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate, the sentiment, but I am really focused on the needs of Middle Tennesseans to have accurate, timely information all the way from Bowling Green to Huntsville and Jackson to Knoxville.
Wow. That sounded like a political speech, didn't it, Jackson? That sounded kind of politician-y. It did.
Ken, what would your stance on real feels be?
Real feels?
Easy. You can make enemies. You can make enemies real quick.
Like I said, there's a lot of news out there that needs to be delivered accurately and timely. And rather than get into, what the temperature is now or how scientists might, translate that, I'm just going to stick with the news, boys.
I like it. You
Which does involve the heat index.
How hot is it, Ken?
Here's the great Jackson. Do you know what he just said? Because I don't, and he would be good at this.
And he didn't deny a run for governor.
No, he's denied nothing so far. I love it. I love every single bit about it. So we'll get to all of that. We'll get to Cameron Sexton, who's coming up in just a few moments. He is on his way to our studios right now, leaving B&A Airport, where the Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, I believe Governor Bill Lee was there, and obviously Cameron Sexton was there as well. He's going to join us to talk a little more in depth about what this means for the state of Tennessee and what it could mean down the road and the swiftness with which a tunnel could be constructed. We will continue discussing that. Gino Bolso announcing that he is running for the 7th Congressional District, along with a lot of others, to include Lee Reeves, to include Jody Bear. I don't mean to go down the list because I'll invariably leave people out, and I don't want to do that. But there's a lot of people on the Republican side, and we're going to try to talk to every single one of them. And just to provide you – look, I'm Switzerland in this thing, okay? I want the best candidate for the job. Now, my job and my goal is to get to the bottom of where candidates are on any number of issues important to the 7th Congressional District, to make sure that we present these candidates to you, that you get an unfiltered view of who the candidates are, where they come from, and what they want to do to better our living conditions in the 7th Congressional District, whether that's getting government involved or getting government out of the way, whatever it might be. And then you get to decide come October who you want your candidate to be to take on whatever socialist the Democrats put up as their candidate for the 7th Congressional District. I am Switzerland. I am not – I mean, I'm going to take a side when it comes to the general election. I promise you that. But I like Gino. I like Lee Reeves. I like Jody. I mean, there are different reasons to like all of these candidates. I don't know Matt Van Epps, but hopefully we'll get to know him. I don't know some of these other candidates. I know Stuart Parks, for example. Stuart Parks ran for the 5th Congressional District when I first got here, got to know him there. You know, he went to prison because of January 6th, went to prison for Trump and was eventually pardoned by Trump. And he's in the race. So a lot of candidates to vet through, and we'll try to get to every one of them on Super Talk 99.7 WT. And it's time for Jim to talk about The Tunnel, which is now known as the Music City Loop. Hey, Jim.
Hey, Matt. How you doing?
I'm great, Jim. Hope you are.
So far. I've got a couple questions. Because when we think about a tunnel, normally it's attached to like a train. You know, when you're talking about going to the airport and downtown, like a subway system. But what you're saying is there's going to be cars in the tunnel. So my question is, does the tunnel open up next to the airport and the cars will join the normal cars that go into the arrival gates and departure gates? Or is it going to be something underneath the airport?
No, it's a closed loop system for Tesla vehicles only. And no, it's not for private cars to go on. So you can't take your car on it. It will be
gotcha.
Yeah. So think of it like a subway, but just with Tesla cars.
So then the next question comes in: if we're doing individual cars, well, those cars have to have a way to park so that Granny can get out of the back seat and then get the luggage out of the back. I just see that as making some delays. It's not as effective as a train, and I think that's the rub for me. I was hoping it'd be a train. That way the doors open, everybody walks out. But if you have to have individual cars that are stopping and waiting for people to get, that's just like what the gate is right now to the airport.
I would encourage. Well, I mean, all of that would happen underground. I would encourage you, if you got questions about this, to go to the Boring Company's website and to look at some of the images of what they've already done in Las Vegas. A lot of that parking, a lot of those stops happen underground, and then there are elevators that go to ground level on these stops. So they have these little stations where there are parking areas for the Teslas off to the side. And you can see a lot of this on the website, but they kind of have worked these concepts out over there in Las Vegas.
Well, from there, then the only thing that's going to lose support is if they jack the prices up. And you said it's going to be a fixed rate. Who decides that rate, and who determines if it's going to be raised or lowered? But I appreciate you taking my call, Matt. Really
no problem. No problem, Jim. Thank you for the call. It is a private venture, and so the rates are going to be set by whatever entity controls the tunnel after the Boring Company completes it. One would assume that would be controlled by the Boring Company itself. And if that's the case, then they set the rates consistent with what Nashville is willing to pay. So they claim that they'll get you downtown in 8 minutes, where it takes more than 8 minutes on I-40, I can promise you that. Secondarily, I don't know what the rates will be. I don't know if they talked about the rates today. If that was a question that was asked today, that might remain to be seen. But what is it from the airport to downtown in an Uber? That'd probably be $30.
You're talking price. I was thinking more time.
Oh yeah, but I mean time. I'm willing to listen to that. I mean it's got to be 20 minutes.
About, yeah.
Okay, so price wise, am I around the ballpark? $30?
Depends on what time. If you're peak flying, it could be up $40, $50.
Okay, so I mean if you keep it under that. 7007, would the monopoly law kick in for the tunnel? No, I don't think so. I mean, you don't have to take the tunnel. You can take the road. You can take, Murfreesboro Pike. You can take a taxi cab. You can take a Lyft. You can take an Uber.
Bus. You
can take the bus. You can take grandma can come pick you up. So no, it would not impact the monopoly laws. 3368, are the Teslas autonomously operated? It is my understanding, and we'll get more information from Cameron, that initially they'll be driven by human beings, but the idea being that eventually the Teslas will drive themselves. They'll be self-driving Teslas. And so, I mean, it really becomes like a subway at that point if they are self-driving, but they are on demand, so they come to you on demand. TB says Las Vegas is a shorter loop, but it's $5 for all day. That makes sense.
Would it run all night, like 24/7?
I don't see why. I mean, I think it would be based on demand, right? I mean, I would think yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah, me neither.
Very, very interesting, all of this. 615-737-9986. John has a comment or question about the tunnel. Renee, I'll get to you in a moment. I jumped you, Renee, and I apologize for that. Hey, John.
Hey, sorry, Renee. Hope you're doing well, Matt. Just wanted to give you guys some I've been on the loop a couple of times over in Vegas, and essentially it's 10 bays that 20 Teslas will go into rotating either side, and they just keep going in a continuous loop. So it is very much like a tram, but possibly a little bit more efficient, depending upon. I'm just curious how they're going to do with the luggage and such. So that would be my question.
I mean, yeah, it would make sense to me. Obviously, I'm not a structural or civil engineer, so it would make more sense to me at these stopping points that if the cars are going to stay down there and go back on the one-way loop, then you would have more elevator or escalator type situations for the people to come up to wherever they're going. So that would mean that the footprint would not necessarily have to be very big at these stations. It would be like a subway footprint, really.
Yeah, and that's how it is in Vegas as well. It's pretty much a queue line, and you just wait for the next available Tesla to pull in, and you hop in and go.
What did you think of your experience in Las Vegas, John?
I mean, honestly, it was really cool. I mean, you're underground. They light up the tunnel, so it gives you a cool little feel like you're maybe going a little bit faster than you are. But, it's, like I said, it's pretty convenient and comfortable. It's not a very big loop, maybe half mile or so. But, it definitely gets you there quicker, and especially when it's hot outside or whatnot. So that convention center is quite large.
I like it. I like everything about it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, John, for the call. Hey, Jackson, tell our guest to come on in here. He could come. And look, he's Speaker of the House. He can come in anywhere he wants. Renee, we're going to get to you real quick before we welcome in the Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton. Hello, Renee. How are you?
Yes, I'm great. How are you? How is your shoulder?
It is better. 5 weeks in, and I got to 162 degrees today, Renee.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is good. I feel good about that. Thank you.
So my question was about the airport, and can we park someplace and then they'll take us to the airport? I'm in Clarksville, and it is my understanding that a big chunk of the people that are working in Nashville live here in Clarksville. Clarksville is the 5th largest city in Tennessee, but it is the largest city that is the closest to Nashville. We're like an hour away from y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And 24 is a nightmare. And apparently they're supposed to be widening it, but Lord knows when that's going to happen. But is there anything in the works to get something here in Clarksville? Because we do have a rideshare thing here off of Exit 11 on 24. And, that would be a great place to put it where we could park there and then just take the shuttle into BNA because, we got a lot of people here. We got Fort Campbell here.
No, I get it. No, I understand the nature of it. I've got the guy to ask that question to who just sat down in my studio. So you keep listening.
Is awesome.
You keep listening, and we're going to take a short break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about the big announcement and what this could possibly mean for transportation all across Middle Tennessee. It's 21 after the hour. We are joined by the Speaker of the House of Representatives for the state of Tennessee, Cameron Sexton, next on Super Talk. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so officially, gentlemen, I talked to Ken Weaver and I talked to Jackson Williams. Officially, we're laying off nincompoops until later on in the show. Because we don't want to do all of that when we got serious things to talk about. With the Speaker of the House of the Tennessee General Assembly, he is Cameron Sexton. He just left B&A Airport, and Mr. Speaker, good afternoon. Welcome in.
Hey, Matt, thank you. I apologize for being a little late. I would have been here 20 minutes earlier if we had that tunnel instead of having the traffic.
That's good. You know, my grandpa told me that if something seems too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. But I'm trying to figure this one out. And this just seems like a win for everyone involved. Tell me if I'm overplaying this, Mr. Speaker. I mean, you've been involved, I believe, from the state's perspective in talking to the Boring Company. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, look, it's a wonderful thing. It's kind of like it's Elon Musk's company, which I think is the hardship for the left to swallow. But what they did in Memphis with XAI at zero cost for the locals and the state, and they're coming here with the Boring Company to do tunneling underground, something that we'd never considered in Tennessee because of all the rock. And them saying, again, it's $0 to the state, $0 to the locals, and they're going to pay it back by the way the transportation moves. So they're incurring all the cost, and then they're going to charge the rate, which is what we've been told from the airport to downtown is a half of what an Uber ride would be.
And I think people we started hearing about this last week, started talking a little bit about it as much as we could. Now the announcement has been made. You were there with the Secretary of Transportation. Was the governor there?
Governor was there.
Governor was there. And, I mean, is this a reality? I mean, what is keeping us from now until we start digging?
Nothing. I think they're going to be digging probably within the next couple of days is my understanding. Like they're going to start today. The most disappointing part was that, the mayor wasn't there and people from Metro wasn't there for the announcement. And so, unfortunately, it looks like that it's kind of politics is playing on the Metro side. And even the individuals at the press conference talked about how they appreciated the mayor's conversations and working with them. And then he comes out with a tweet that basically says, we still have concerns. We're still worried about some of this stuff. And it's like, once again, like what I'm frustrated on the East Bank Authority is you got good cop, bad cop, and they're playing this little game back and forth. And look, at the end of the day, this is exactly what Tennessee and Nashville needs. And to answer the caller's question from Clarksville, it could go to Clarksville. Like I've had those conversations with the Boring Company. It is possible to do that and to move it up that way. And so we're hopeful to get there in the future. It's not going to be now, but hopefully in the future, this can progress all across the state of Tennessee, help on 24, 65, going up north, east, west, and south.
You start with an airport to downtown route and prove the concept and prove that it can be done. And then you get some people within the city that see the future and don't allow politics to get in the way of the future. And then you talk about East Nashville. You talk about Gaylord Opryland Hotel. Then you start talking about Murphy. I mean, it's limitless what we could do in terms of fixed loop transit, which seems far more appealing to people than any bridge or any extension of the current roadways, and far more cost effective for the state, obviously.
Obviously, it's cost effective.
It's zero.
It's $0. Yeah.
I want to ask you about the sad reality of some of the politics of this in a moment. I've got to take a quick break, but our guest is Cameron Sexton. He is the Speaker of the House, of course, was at the announcement today. Quick timeout. We've got news coming, and then more with Cameron right after this on Super Talk. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A few more moments with our good friend Cameron Sexton. He's Speaker of the House, talking about this incredible announcement. You've been around for a lot longer than I have. I've been here since 21. We were excited when the stadium announcement happened. We're excited when any economic development activity occurs in the state of Tennessee. This has got to be pretty high up there, at least in recent memory for you Oracle is a good example of an incredible forward-thinking business putting roots down in Middle Tennessee. This has got to be up there for you.
It is. I mean, I'm at a point where I can experience some of this stuff with the listeners and be on the front lines and have the meetings and just be flabbergasted by the technology and the vision that certain people have, entrepreneurs, on how to overcome obstacles like rock in Tennessee, which we never – you go look at the skyscrapers being built in Nashville and all you see is rock and they're blasting. So to be able to do something that we never thought we could is fascinating. What I will say is, look, we've had some great governors, Governor Haslam, Governor Lee, over the years that have set the state on the right direction. Nashville's had some great mayors in Purcell and Dean and Bredesen who put politics aside and said, this is what's best for Nashville. That's how we got the Titans. That's how we got other things. Because they didn't ask those people, are you Republican or are you Democrat? They asked, we want you here. You're wanting to come here. Let's see if we can make it work. And that's what you do as an elected official. You try to make the community better than what it was when you came into office. The most disappointing part about Metro government in my last several years is it seems like they're more worried about the politics in their left flank than doing what's best for the citizens of Tennessee and Middle Tennessee.
It feels to me if Freddie, and I'll just name him Mayor O'Connell, if he was listening to the right people, he would recognize how well a project like this as a partnership would complement whatever I think about his transit plan. Would this not be a perfect complement to what he claims he's trying to do?
Exactly right. I mean, they passed a transit plan to help ease congestion, and this is a great aspect because there's a lot of tourists who come into Nashville, a lot of people who use the airports from outside, which we hope to build out like the Clarksville lady was asking. There's a huge opportunity for us here in Middle Tennessee and Tennessee, but you're not limited to just Middle. Over time, you could connect this all across our state. Imagine what that would look like underground, right? So you're only limited. Your vision is only limited by what you're willing to limit yourself to thinking what you can do. And you don't want to ever do that. And I think Metro is limiting themselves because they're afraid of their left. And then their left doesn't like it because Elon Musk, which then brings into question about Oracle. Are they really going to follow through on what Oracle is here to do? Or are they going to try to backpedal on that a little bit, which would be problematic? Because you don't want to send the message to businesses that you renege on the deals. At the East Bank Authority, they're reneging on deals. They're changing it every time on all these businesses. Well, that's what we said last month, but this month, this is where we're at. You cannot do that. That's not how you run a business. That's not how you run a government. That's not how you're an elected official. And so at the end, the best thing to do is what happened here is the B&A authority has authority. It's called an authority. They have the authority. They didn't need Metro Council's approval. They didn't need the mayor's approval.
Thankfully.
Correct. And look what's happening. The airport is magnificent under Doug's ability to lead that organization. The East Bank Authority, they wanted to set it up under control, which I get back to this question. So if you have all these things going for you in the city and you have all these tourists coming in, why were you not there when you passed the transit plan and it's costing you nothing other than just politics?
I want to read to you what apparently the mayor has said about this. And I don't know if you've seen this yet. This has gone out on a couple of, I'll give credit. I think it's Chris Davis from News Channel 5 said that Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell was not quoted in the press conference. He was thanked in the press conference, and I mean, you were there. You heard the folks thanking the Metro government. But Mayor O'Connell said, quote, "We are aware of the state's conversations with the Boring Company, and we have a number of operational questions to understand the potential impacts on Metro and Nashvillians." Do you have any comment on that, Speaker Sexton?
I don't know that we have anybody living 50 feet underground that would be impacted, right? So I don't really understand what he's talking about. Look, at the end of the day, is what it is. It comes down to purely politics. They can sit here, and I know I've had conversations with people that talk to Metro government behind the scenes and not out in public, and the comments always, "Hey, we're for this, but we can't publicly be for it." Look, at some point, you just have to suck it up and say, this is what's best for our city. This is what's best for our state. We need to do this. But when you play politics out front and then behind the scenes you're different, which I call good cop, bad cop, that becomes a problem over time.
Well, and it's also my understanding that people within the administration have said to Metro councilors that they did have conversations with the Boring Company, that they have sat down. The Boring Company approached them and have spoken to people within the mayor's office on several occasions, which, and I know I would have to ask Mayor O'Connell this question, that what questions do you have now that you did not have answered for you then that made it impossible for you to be a part of this project?
Right. This has been on conversation now for 2 years. I've been a part of this conversation for 2 years. Trying to say that there's been no conversations and you hadn't had time to ask the questions, operational concerns, whatever that means, right? You've had 2 years to do it. To put that out at this point, look, call it a spade's a spade. Say you're for it or against it. Just say it, right? If you're going to do it, just tell us which way you are.
Let's say, I hope that this is not the case, and I hope the mayor's office and the Metro Council see the benefit of this as we do, as I believe it will benefit all of Middle Tennessee. But let's say they don't. Does that stymie the project, in your opinion, in any way?
No, it doesn't. But what it shows, once again, to Tennesseans is that you cannot work together. What's made Tennessee great with great governors and great elected officials who were Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever you want to call it, we've always been able in the business environment to work together to achieve our vision of what we need to have happen. That's why we are where we are. It really is. And then all of a sudden, what you're now getting into is becoming LA and becoming this because I want to be progressive, and anything that has a Republican business associated with it, I don't want it anymore. That's just wrong. I mean, that is purely wrong. You can argue politics on other policy, but when you're trying to do this to help Tennesseans to ease congestion and traffic and easiness, and it costs you nothing, where are you?
It reminds me to a certain degree what happened with the possibility of the RNC coming here.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a one-time incredible opportunity to showcase the city of Nashville. I mean, the money that would come in just from tourism alone was astronomical, but that was a one-off. That was just a one moment in time situation that sadly the Metro Council didn't take advantage of because of politics. This feels like it is a long-term decision, at least as far as we understand, to turn their back on the citizens of this community because of politics.
Look, I said at the time on the RNC, I'll take Republicans' money and Democrats' money. It's okay. We can use it. We can use it in Tennessee. I'm happy to do it. Right?
Every Republican that I talked to at that time, and I was new, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Mr. Speaker, but every Republican I talked to said, if the DNC wants to come here, come on.
Let's go. Let's fill up the hotels. Let's do all this. It's great. Look, at this point, whenever the NFL, we build a new Titan Stadium, and they're bringing the Super Bowl here, is Nashville going to say, well, that's a Republican owner, so therefore I don't want that team playing in Nashville because the owner's Republican? Like, come on. Just get over it. What's best for Tennessee a lot of times is bipartisan.
Let's talk about the positives of this. So you said very quickly, I said, when does this start? And you were like, it's going to start like now. So we're going to see action on this. I mean, the boring company's ready to go.
They're ready to go. They're looking to hire. My understanding, the drilling is going to start very soon. They're looking to hire 50 people, I think, in the next 2 to 3 days to get going. And it's going to be very quick and be very efficient.
And when do you expect that Cameron Sexton and Matt Murphy will get a chance to slide into a Tesla, autonomous or otherwise?
Underground.
I mean, we're talking a couple of years, right?
Yeah, I mean, you may get a little quicker depending on if they just want people to go down and see what it's like and do so. There may be an opportunity, but they predict by 2027 is when they would have it operational.
Is the conceptualization, as you understand it, as you've sat through these meetings, it is like a subway for automobiles, electric automobiles. In other words, they will have stop points where passengers can get off, and then they would take like escalators or elevators up to ground level.
Yeah, it's like a taxi cab, subway underground, right? But Tesla would own it because they're incurring all the costs, and so that's how they recoup their cost. But the interesting is, I remember growing up watching the movie The Journey to the Center of the Earth, and when they talked to me, I had this vision of this huge thing that's drilling down into the middle of the earth, right? And the interesting thing is, over the last couple of years, what they have is a mechanism that will drill into the rock, and at the same time as they're drilling, the backside of the equipment builds the tunnel. It's instantaneous.
I mean, that's what the boring thing is?
It's instantaneous, and you only going to have 3 or 4 people that have to operate that piece of machinery. So if any other company that you try to do this, there's hundreds of people underground trying to figure this out. They got a machine that does it all at the same time. So as you're drilling, you're putting in a tunnel.
It's insane. I mean, the fact that we are here in 2025 and that Nashville's on the forefront of it, thanks to state leadership. Sadly, not local leadership, but state leadership concerned about Middle Tennessee, growth of tourism in Middle Tennessee. I mean, is there a downside to this, Mr. Speaker?
No, there's only an upside to this. This is an upside. And when you look at the long-range vision of what we can connect across the state, and all of a sudden if you say, hey, if you live in Clarksville, you can hop on this and get to the airport, or Cookeville or Crossville or Chattanooga, you can now also commute. So I talked to him about, can we make this from Murfreesboro to downtown for all these commuters? Is that possible? Yes, it's possible.
I think there's people listening in the other room that would say Murfreesboro to downtown should be the next.
Yeah, I don't disagree, right? I don't disagree.
Right.
But the thing is, if you're sitting in traffic, right now, the future is there for this to help you in that situation. And what they said is, it's a difference of someone. Once you get it to those areas, it's a difference of you getting home for dinner and not getting home for dinner. right? And that's the importance part of it.
And just to reiterate, for those just joining the party, this is going to cost us how much again?
$0.
$0.
It's all private investment.
And I'm certain the Boring Company has given you kind of an indication. I mean, did they give you an indication of what their anticipated price point would be?
I mean, there's been numbers thrown out. I think their investment is probably north of $50 million to own up, whatever that may be. There's some challenges still to do it, but they've become more efficient. And so they've upgraded their machines. They've learned from in LA. They've learned in Las Vegas. The fascinating part, Matt, is the other fascinating part. Nevada and California is not a bastion for Republicanism. Las Vegas is not run by Republican people, but yet they moved 35,000 people in Las Vegas on a single day from the airport to the convention center to the hotels under Democrat leadership, and they love it. And all of a sudden we get here in Nashville and the Democrat leadership's like, yeah, let's play politics on this.
I don't know that they can play politics for very long. Believe it or not, there's an election coming up for those guys pretty soon too. And I think a no-brainer like this could impact that election cycle. At least they will have to answer to the voters at that point if they don't get on board. And I hope they do. I hope every single member of the Metro Council comes out tomorrow and say, we were wrong not to be there, and we're all on board tomorrow, because that's better for the entirety of Middle Tennessee.
It is. It's better. And I hope they have the same thing for Oracle who's coming, and they don't try to renege on Oracle like they have on TPAC, and they're not telling the East Bank they have no authority with like BNA and how – like the Nashville's right there. But you have to be able to work together to improve it. You can't always have control.
I mean, and no offense to your guys over at the Tennessee Department of Transportation, but if you're talking about getting a tunnel completed in the private sector within 2 years, I don't think we could resurface I-40 from the airport to downtown in 2 years. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
there's other challenges, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, if you're heading out to Lebanon, that was like 4 years of project to move to 5-lane that, right? I mean, it took forever, and you're right. The efficiency is very important.
Anything else we need to know about the project?
No, I mean, look, it's going on. It's going to be great, and we're looking forward to it. And I think all Tennesseans will see it at the end as a worthwhile project, and it should be done. I'm very excited that this is coming to my adopted home state, our state, because we are on the leading edge of what I think is the future of transportation across the United States of America. We are, and look, I mean, I've talked to the governor today a little bit. I've talked to him. I'm going to talk to him here in a couple of days. There's some other things that we can do that will put us where we're competing not with states in America, but Tennessee can compete with China and Japan if we do a couple things. And that's the exciting part, is when you travel the state and you listen to people and you actually listen to business owners and entrepreneurs and people who are doing this every day, they tell you what needs to happen, and that will put us on a field that will make this look small. Well, we're excited about it. Thank you for spending some time with us to explain it to us. Very excited to have you on, and we'll talk again very soon. Thank you. Appreciate it. There's Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton, back in a moment on Super Talk. It's been a wild show. Wild show. Our apologies for are y'all okay with, I just got to ask the group. I hate to do it on the fly here, but is everybody okay? Ken, I know your time is compressed in the 6 o'clock hour. Are we good at doing nincompoops at 6:05 right after the news?
Yeah, we can do that.
We can do that? Okay.
We can get her done.
Jackson, you good with that? All right, so for those of you who missed out on nincompoops, my apology. We had a non-nincompoop in the house with us, and y'all can accuse me of being naive. Y'all can accuse me of being a 12-year-old watching it snow. But I'm excited about what we just heard here in studio, what we heard from the press conference. We're going to hear from the governor down the road. I've talked to his folks, and he's going to be on with us as soon as possible. We just heard from the Speaker of the House. The tourism folks are excited about it. The BNA Airport's excited about it. Everybody seems excited about this except for Metro Nashville, and Metro Nashville is going to benefit more than anybody. And it just astounds me that Mayor Freddie O'Connell is being as disingenuous as he's being about this. And look, I'll put a call into his office. I'm happy to.
Yeah, I do not see what the problem is with this.
Well, he says, here was his statement to Chris Davis of News Channel 5. We are aware of the state's conversations with the Boring Company, and we have a number of operational questions to understand the potential impacts on Metro and Nashvillians. Here would be my follow-up to Mayor O'Connell. Okay, I'm glad you're aware about the state's conversations. Why don't you make us aware about your conversations with the Boring Company? Because we know you had at least 2. We know that the Boring Company sat down with your office, Mr. Mayor. Tell us what happened in those conversations and why you weren't at the press conference. What concerns did you have that prevented you